Hey, yeah. So, around 1.5 crore people have invested in crypto. Around 10 crore rupees is already invested, and Indian government is regularly issuing many guidelines regarding crypto, and people are also enthusiastic about it. So, and you're also a WazirX warrior, and you are very close in the market, crypto market. So, I just want to discuss with you many lot about NFTs, crypto, and that's all. So, what do you think about the potential and use cases of crypto in India? And do you think that the Indian government will take this as a asset, like investing asset?
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast. And coming to question is that the potential of the crypto space is huge in India. Like Indian can be of much use here. Like the Binance or the world largest exchanges are also investing. So the crypto thing in India is pretty new and very few people used to know about it. But now through adoption and kinds of things, people are able to come to know about it. But the potential. So there are many potential over here. So I will just point out some of them and I will discuss over it. Like the first potential is the DeFi space. So anybody who is not habituated with DeFi, it is decentralized finance. So whatever things we are doing in the market, like we are going to the banks, we are taking loans and we are saving, we are doing our giving our money for savings, right? But we can do that in the decentralized way also. So that is the first thing, which has much potential in crypto. That is DeFi. The second thing is NFT. So anybody who doesn't know about NFT, NFT is like an unique token. Like you and me can be an NFT, or any unique thing can be recorded on the blockchain as an NFT. So as we progress further, we will discuss about NFTs and all. So this is the second thing that has huge potential now. And the third thing is that this is a very basic thing. Like if we have to transfer money to any of our relatives who are staying in USA, so what are the mediums we can use? We can use a banking channel, but it will generally take 3 to 4 days to transfer that money. Or else we can't do anything, right? So here comes the role of the crypto and the crypto assets. Like in seconds only, we can just send the money anywhere in the world. It doesn't depend on any country or any specific region. We can send the money anywhere, and we can also receive the money from anywhere, and that can be converted into anything. So this is the most huge potential that crypto has till now. So these are the three things that crypto has for now. And coming to your second question, that the government. So governments are also trying to learn about blockchain, because this is a very new concept. Like Bitcoin was introduced in 2008 and 2009. So hardly we have gone to 10 years now. If you go to the other side, like in stock markets, gold also, it has taken much time to people to know the worth of it, right? So now also government is not clear about the guidelines and what should the government do for regulation in crypto in India. But what the government is telling is, government is appointing committee, a new committee like the previous one which we used to have in 2017 2018, which banned the crypto. So this time we will have a new committee and they will understand about blockchain and crypto assets, and they will not allow it as a currency for now. Like we are using INR rupees. So वो ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि like you can replace INR with a BTC, but you can use it as an asset just like gold. तो हम लोग gold जैसे घर पे आके रख देते हैं, we can just store BTC, right? So this is the stand of government, and government is also trying to adapt to blockchain technology. Like recently, I have heard a news like in Maharashtra. I suppose I'm not clear about the state, Maharashtra or Madhya. Like they have transformed to the Polygon blockchain. Polygon is a Indian startup from India with 3 founders who have recently turned billionaires from crypto. So they have transferred their whole medical data, like the COVID thing, into Polygon blockchain. So now government and states are also coming into the blockchain thing, and they are also trying to adapt to it. So they are not banning it, but they are also trying to regulate it. Like crypto is a very volatile space, and normal people may also face losses. So they are just trying so that people are not lured into it. Like people are not going there only for gains, and they understand the thing. And the government can also derive benefit from the crypto exchanges. Like they can tax on the capital gains people are making on crypto trading or investing, or they can themselves buy some crypto and then store that for future gains. So government is very bullish on this thing, Indian government especially, and they are just trying to integrate blockchain with the government things also, like I told the COVID thing, and they are also recently given a circular, like banks were not giving their services to the crypto exchanges. Whoever is using the crypto exchange, they might know that banks told that we will not give you banking services, like you will not able to deposit or withdraw. So mostly exchanges moved to MobiKwik. Oh, yeah. So they moved to that, but then it came to the notice of the governor, and they just issued a notice that you cannot stop, the banks cannot stop their withdrawal or deposit services for crypto exchange. So that also brings, like, the government is also trying to just introduce crypto in India, but they are not very aggressive on that. Like, they want to first see the potential losses over there, and then वो लोग धीरे धीरे कोशिश करेंगे कि will integrate that. So yeah, this is the thing, that the government is also very enthusiastic about it, but they are also focusing on the drawbacks also. Like, as it is decentralized, so people can be easily like rug pulled, or people can be frauded over there. So that's why government is taking both the sides, and they will calculate which is better, and they will take the policies accordingly. So this is my stand over it.
Great. I actually, you talked about Polygon also. I did a bit of research on Polygon. It's like a crypto relief fund, I think so. But one of them is Sandeep, and they are doing a great job about it. And really, I think so, if government understand, the people understand the blockchain, the crypto space, they will not lose money. It is all about FOMO and like herding that keeps doing all these losing thing. But yeah, now before going further, I just want to introduce yourself to the public.
So hello guys, my name is Samantak, and I am basically from Kolkata. I am an WazirX warrior. So my primary goal is to educate people about cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And I have also started an initiative of my own named as Innovis, where we help students or early age professionals who are just into job or business or something to learn about crypto, and then they can start their journey in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, so that they don't go into losses and they are more aware than the layman people. So this is my motive, to educate people, and so I am doing this podcast. Yeah.
Great initiative. Really great. So now, as you have a finance background also, and you know about traditional finance, so if you think about that, why do we need crypto, and how it is different from the traditional finance?
Okay, so from traditional finance, I will like to take the whole story back into the early days, where you used to use the barter system, like तुम मेरे को गेहूं दो, मैं तुमको चावल दूंगा, that kind of a system. So there, what we used to do, we used to exchange things, right? So that was our medium of exchange, but there was pretty much problem over that. So then we moved to the metal coins kind of a thing, but there also there was some problem, like the coins used to be heavy, and the value that they used to depict, the metal was precious than that. So people used to scrap the metals and all. So then we moved to the normal currency, the paper currency, the fiat currency that we see now. So we moved to that, and fiat currency has also many drawbacks, like the paper currency, it can be torn, it can be duplicate बना सकते हैं हम लोग उसका. Then उसके बाद what came into picture was credit card or checks, you can say that. So credit card, what you can say that it was plastic money. So हम लोग के पास एक card होता था, and we can go and swipe it, and the money used to transfer. So from that point onwards, we don't have anything like देना है और लेना है. We can just swipe it and it will go there. So that was the thing, the technology took place over the traditional finance from the credit card point, and then it moved to apps like Paytm, Google Pay, and PhonePe. Because from that point onwards, I used to remember when I was a kid, I never imagined like we can go to a shop, we can just scan a code, and the money will be transferred, and people will give me the thing. So that was an imaginary thing, like to get the people install the scanner codes, and people also going there, they are scanning. और 5 रुपीज चाय के लिए भी अब लोग स्कैन करके पेटीएम करते. So for that adoption to came, it took much time, and the technology was huge. मतलब अभी भी बहुत सारे कंट्रीज के पास यूपीआई जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी है ही नहीं, right? So from that point onward, technology came over. So now crypto is the next phase of crypto technology. Like we were using the traditional finance thing only, like INR हम लोग यूज कर रहे, but crypto में क्या हो गया, we are taking it over to the blockchain space. हम लोग जो INR यूज करते, they can be counterfeited. कोई भी चीज काउंटरफेट नहीं हो सकता. जो हम लोग INR यूज कर रहे हैं, दैट इज अ सेंट्रलाइज ऑथोरिटी, RBI उसको इश्यू करता है, बट इन ब्लॉकचेन देयर इज नो सेंट्रलाइज ऑथोरिटी, पूरा डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड थिंग्स एंड people can come over, make their own things, make their own currency, make their own communities, and that can be recorded fully in the blockchain and it can be verifiable. So ऐसा टेक्नोलॉजी उसके पहले आया नहीं था, that could be verifiable, not centralized, and people participation can be there.
So yeah, you really have a good knowledge of traditional finance and crypto. So like, as you are also a WazirX warrior and started an initiative named Finovis. So if you are introducing a person who doesn't know about crypto, how would you explain to him or her?
Okay, so if the person is not from the crypto background, so we have to just take some examples from traditional finance. Like the person may be using Paytm, Google Pay or Phone Pay, or he or she may have used internet banking in some point of time in his life. So I will come first with the Paytm and Google Pay. So as I was telling in the before app also, that we never imagined that we could go to a shop and we can just scan the code and we can transfer the money. So same like that, here what we happened in crypto, you can just send the money to anywhere in the world, wherever you want, and you don't need that scanner code also, you just need that UPI ID kind of a thing. So you can just get that ID and you can send the money to them and they can cash it out in their own currency. So that is the first thing. And if you are using internet banking also, the same thing applies for them also. And second thing that I am coming with, so this is the merger of both the things, like Paytm and Google Pay and the stock market or share market. So in share market also, what we do is we go to an exchange, we buy shares, and whenever the share price rises, we just sell it. So in the same thing happens with the cryptocurrency market also. We can go to a crypto exchange, we can buy any crypto over there, and we can send it to anyone or we can keep it with us also. And if the price increases of that crypto, we can just sell it off and we can just enjoy the profit that we generate. So here you are getting both the things. You can just pay someone with the crypto, or you can also hold it for some time, or you can just trade it and you can get profits from that crypto thing. So this is the first thing that beginners need to understand, that they are getting both the things, like they can do payment and they can also take it as an asset, like a crypto asset and cryptocurrency. Both the words goes with crypto. So they can understand that this has dual benefits, not the payment kind of a thing like INR, which we hold, uska same ही value रहेगा कल भी परसों भी, but if we are holding crypto, उसका value ऊपर नीचे हो सकता है. So that is the thing, but it is also risky, so you need to do your own research and stuff. But yeah, so this is the technology behind what people need to understand before coming into crypto.
Great. If we talk about paper notes and other currencies, you have some wallets, physical wallets with us, so that you can store your currency in it or take your paper notes in your wallets. So what about the wallets in crypto space?
So in crypto space, there are many types of wallets, not like only the wallet that we used to have in our pocket, but here we have basically 4 types of wallets. Like I was just telling that you can go to an exchange and you can just buy and sell cryptocurrencies from there. So अगर आप buy कर लेते हो तो आपको कहीं पर रखना पड़ेगा. You can't keep it on anything, right? So in exchange also you are getting a wallet that is known as exchange wallet. So exchange currencies रख सकते हो, but here comes the concept of public key and private key. So I will define what is public key and what is private key. So public key is like that UPI ID जो आप किसी दोस्त को देते हो, बोलते हो यार पेमेंट भेज दो मेरे को यहाँ पे UPI ID पे. So you can just share it with anyone who wants to pay you or whom you want to get the payment from. And the private key is like your password of the Google Pay ID. So वो एक password होता है and that is a random kind of a numeric thing, alphanumeric thing. So you have to keep it safe, and कभी भी आप login करते हो you need both the public key and private key to log in into your wallet. So the exchanges क्या होते हैं, exchange wallets में you don't get the public, you get the public key but you don't get the private key. So that is the issue, like you cannot log in into the wallet if the exchange ban your account. So that is the problem in exchange wallet. So how can you deal with this problem? So you can just store your crypto in hot wallets or cold wallets. So hot wallet means like not hot wallets, like in offline wallets that are hard wallets, or in cold wallets. So hard wallet क्या होता है, जिससे हम लोग पेन ड्राइव लगाते हैं in our laptop. So there are some devices available offline. This is known as ledgers. So you can just insert it on your laptop and you can just transfer your crypto over that pen drive like device and you can disconnect it. So that is the most safest kind of wallet, because that is not connected to internet and it cannot be hacked, and you have the private keys and the public keys over there. So there is no issue, and the people who are doing huge transactions in crypto, like in lakhs and crores, they generally prefer hardware wallet, because they insert it and they just transfer the crypto and they just leave it for their for 1-2 years or 5 years, whatever maybe the time frame. But in cold wallet, like we have some apps or websites or software in our laptops or phone. So there are some apps or softwares also where you can just store your cryptocurrency. But that is a lesser secure way from hardware wallet, because that is over the internet. Like if your laptop or phone gets hacked, so your cold wallet can also be hacked. But in cold wallet, it is securer than the exchange wallet, because in the exchange wallet you don't get the private key. So इसमें एक कहावत भी है, if you don't get the private keys, it's not your crypto. Okay, so in cold wallet you can just transfer the crypto and it will be there, like in the software or in the mobile app. So these are the 3 types of wallet, and there is another wallet that is a pure basic thing, like in paper wallet. So you can go to the Google Chrome or any browser and you can just search paper wallet. So that will randomly generate you a private key and public key. So you can just send the crypto on the public key, and you can just save both the ID, like the public key and the private key. So you can log in from any other wallet, like the hardware wallet or the cold wallet. You can log in from there and you can just access the crypto. So these are the 4 main types of wallet that are present in the crypto space.
Now my friend is also using a WazirX, and he told that WazirX is a great exchange and it is very advanced, and I'm also doing a lot of research about the crypto apps. So what are the great features about WazirX that make it really advanced and stand out on all the apps?
Okay, so let me come from the very beginning. Like WazirX was started when in 2018 or 2017 the crypto space was getting banned in India. Like cryptocurrency आप यूज नहीं कर सकते हो, ऐसा सर्कुलर आ गया था. So at that point WazirX started their journey, and the first thing that WazirX had was a P2P exchange. So the P2P exchange बहुत किसी को पता नहीं होगा. Like if I am a person and you are a person and we want to exchange things, like I have a INR rupees and you have US dollars and you want to exchange the thing. So हम लोग को अगर पता ही नहीं होगा दोनों का कौन किसके पास क्या है, so we cannot exchange, and the quantities also matter. So WazirX came up with a P2P platform where you can just go and you can just fill in your order. Like if I want to buy US dollars at 80 rupees for 1000 rupees का मेरे को खरीदना है, so I can just go and fill in the order, and you can also do the same. Like if you want to sell it, you can just go to the sell button and you can just fill in your order. So what WazirX does is they will match both of us, and we can just transfer it amongst ourselves. Like if you are at US dollars, so you that is US dollar tethered USDT in your WazirX account, and I have INR, so I want USDT. So I will directly transfer the amount to you, and WazirX, what WazirX will do is they will lock your USDT that you want to sell. So you cannot use that USDT, and once I send you the payment and we both confirm that yeah, the payment is offered, so the WazirX team will transfer the thing to me. So that is the first thing that WazirX did. That was awesome. And the second thing is now that they have recently launched is that the quick buy thing. Like many beginners who come to the exchange, they don't know what is the price and what price I should buy at, and there are many things that beginners is confused at. So there is an option in WazirX that is known as quick buy. So they can go there, and the most buyed currencies like BNB, Bitcoin, Ethereum are there in the quick buy section. So they can go there and they can buy it at the market price. So whatever the price is going at that time when they visited the WazirX exchange, so they can buy it there, and they don't have to give any price and all, limit price, and that is the second thing. And the third thing is that WazirX has the most number of cryptocurrency pairs, like in the INR market, USDT market, WRX market, Bitcoin market. So the most number of cryptocurrencies any Indian exchange has now is WazirX. So WazirX के पास सबसे ज़्यादा cryptocurrency pairs है, and the most number of cryptocurrency are listed there. And WazirX also has its own order book. Like the other Indian exchanges often borrow order book. Like आपके पास liquidity होना चाहिए. Suppose someone comes to buy something, some crypto from you, so you have to give the liquidity to them. So WazirX has its own order book, and the other exchange still doesn't have their own order book. That is also a plus point. And for partnerships, WazirX has already partnered with Binance, which is the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. So you can just transfer your cryptocurrencies, like there may be 30 or 33 cryptocurrencies which you can transfer from WazirX to Binance, and there will be no fees. Like for normal transfers, you have to pay some fees to the blockchain. But here, without any fees, because of this partnership, you can just freely transfer your currency to Binance. And in Binance, there are more number of pairs of cryptocurrencies, so you can buy from there, you can sell there, and there are many other things that you can do in Binance, because this is the world largest and this is the best thing. So you can transfer it. So that is the more plus point that WazirX had that other exchanges don't have. And the fourth thing is that they recently launched an NFT market day before yesterday, like June 1 at 6 o'clock. So NFT was been discussed in the Indian space from much days, but there was no marketplace where they can go and discuss about it and do the stuff. So WazirX also launched that. So WazirX is always in the front foot to develop the crypto space in India, and so that's why I think WazirX is the best app for beginners to start with.
I definitely say like constant innovations in this sector has led to WazirX to be the best crypto app now in India, and I really appreciate that. So just winding up the podcast now. So according to me, if someone wants to be in crypto space, before investing you should come to know what it is about, and because people are losing a lot of money also, it is better to learn before investing. So you are also in crypto space. Can you give some tips for beginners who wants to get started in crypto and NFTs?
Yeah, so the first thing that I tell everyone who is interested in crypto or want to come first is learn first, then start earning. Because people generally come here for earning money. किसी के बगल वाले से मैं सुन लेता हूँ कि यार I have just invested in Dogecoin and it has gone up and now मैं लाखपति हूँ, करोड़पति हूँ, ऐसा कुछ. But there is also risk associated with it, and you should know the risk first. So first learn about the things, what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrencies, what are the coins. You can just do analysis on them, and then you can just invest on the cryptocurrencies. So first learn and then earn. The second thing that I always tell people is don't do FOMO. Like people always buy at the top. जब cryptocurrency का price बढ़ने लगता है, people are like, oh shit, I missed the bus, so I should buy now. So that is not the point. Be patient and research well. If you are researching about a project and you think it's going to go up, try to invest by parts. Like don't invest your capital at one go. Buy some part, like 20% of it first, and if it's going higher, then invest 20% more. If it's getting more higher, invest 30% more, because you don't know when it will come down. So this process will average down your cost, and it will help you to do better analysis also, and it will lower your losses also if it comes down. So that's the second thing that I tell people. And the third thing that I tell people is that for investing, you will always have to do fundamental analysis. You need some technicals also, but mainly you have to do fundamentals. Like you have to know about the project, what is it doing. And for trading, if you are doing there for trade, like I have to buy today and sell tomorrow, you have to know technical analysis. But what people generally do is they go to groups and all, and they just ask some random people, and they just say ye badne wala hai, and they just take it. So don't take advice from them. Do your own research and do your own analysis, and then invest on it. It's a good thing.
Yeah, great. You talked about averaging, so just I want to add one more point to this. It is like dollar cost averaging. People must have heard about it. So you don't really invest all your money once in the market, but you invest in parts, like $500, $500 or $100 at a particular month or intervals. So it also gives out a good amount of money at the end of. So just I will linking your link in the description so that people can contact you, and thank you for being with us.
Okay. Thank you, guys.